That was a poor performance by Arsenal.
Poor performance by the ref and all that. But did they deserve to win? No, they just got lucky.
Did we deserve to win?
We didn't deserve to win. We didn't deserve to lose. There's no way. And I'm sorry, respect James, but I can't. Carrick, what? Who's Carrick? Can't even lick me.
Well, he just turned over just twice.
What's the crack? Welcome back to the Irish Voice Podcast. A very happy version of the Irish Voice Podcast for a change. United tops all around. Kieran, you're sporting the jumper, are you?
Oh yeah, we added Al's originals here the year. Keep me warm.
Yeah, I thought I'd stick the United. I thought the United jersey on since yesterday when he took it off for work. Something to be proud of for a change, which is such a weird feeling.
Great feeling.
Great feeling. So, straight into it. 4 topics to cover over the course of this. First off, we're going to talk about the Arsenal win, because you have to talk about the Arsenal win. Secondly, we are going to talk about Roy Keane's comments on Michael Carrick. Third thing I want to talk about is whether Manchester United will move in the next couple of days in the transfer window. And then to finish up, we will look at the Fulham game, which I believe is next, correct? Are we at home or away to Fulham?
Old Trafford.
Oh, nice. Okay, so straight into it. Mum, let you take centre stage for this one. What did you think of United versus Arsenal? Break that down for us.
Well, the first 20 minutes I was a bit worried. I thought we were overrun in the first 20 minutes. Now, whether that was a game plan from Michael Carrick and let them have the ball, it was the same sort of blueprint when they played Liverpool. Arsenal played Liverpool. And then I thought it's going to be one of those days when Martinez scored the OG. I thought they defended really well up until then, and then such a fluky goal to give away. And all those statistics, Arsenal haven't been beat at home in 17 games, and Arsenal, when they go 1-0 up, they haven't been beaten, at the Emirates. And I thought, right, here we go with a great result against City, and now, we're back to square one. But then they showed up. Yeah. Now, I thought we were very unlucky with a couple of... I thought their movement of play at times was really, really good. That wee triangular play that they're sort of like implementing now. And especially for Cunha's goal, the third goal, I thought it was brilliant passage of play by Bruno Fernandes and Kobe Mainoo.
Yeah.
So it was nail-biting stuff, and 2 each, and you think, right, and the crowd, was right behind Arsenal, and I thought, right, the momentum here is with Arsenal. But that goal by Cunha at the end was just, and then, of course, you were biting your nails, especially when they added 7 minutes on. But I thought it was a really good performance, positive performance, and an uplifting performance for the fans. The result was fantastic, but the performance... For me, outshone the result.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the big difference maker. Kieran, especially since we watched Fletcher's Manchester United to Carrick's Manchester United. What do you think he's done to have this impact in such a short space of time? Because I thought Fletcher would be the difference maker, because Fletcher would simply change the system and that would be it. But I think Fletcher showed that there was more wrong than the system.
Absolutely. And I don't... I think Carrick is more... I thought Darren Fletcher, you're right, will be more of the same. Like, just change the formation, let the handbrake off, be productive, try something, entertain, go forward, and go forward and defend as a team. Just back to the days that, Carrick is known as a player in the way his teams would have played under Fergie. But yeah, it's so much difference between watching Fletcher's United for 1 or 2 games than what we've just watched the last couple of games. And, it's hard not to get excited and buzzing and, about, because it's not just a result, it's 2 performances that have gone, this is United. We're the old hangover meme, we're back, we're so back. But I'm still, how many times a year do we say, oh, we're back, this is it? And then it goes straight downhill, So I'm more conscious of the Fulham game, and then Spurs the following week, following Saturday, and I think it's Everton and West Ham are the next 2 games after that. So these next couple of games, where we're seeing to, especially under Amram, it's already getting up for the big games against the Liverpools and the Arsenals and Cities and Chelseas, which we've beat them all this year, by the way. It's the teams in the low that are like, you come at us, the low blocks that we can't seem to score against, or it's a stupid another draw, or like Everton a loss. So I'm excited from what I've seen in the, like you said, very last week, the eye test. It's very good to watch, and there's players that have, I think, in the space of a week or two, have improved under Carrick, especially players like Kobe Manu is showing more consistent performances in midfield, like that, than what the British media hype him up to be. He's looking more like that player that's played in the FA Cup final or has played in the Euros for England. He's looking more like that midfielder, and well, I know we'll probably come to another transfer, and will we bring a midfielder in the January? But and apparently there was a contract ready for Kobe Manu, and Amram wouldn't sign it off. So it just goes to show you, we put a lot of faith and a lot of belief into Ruben Amram, wrongly so. It's looking at the minute after the last couple of results, and you just have to admit when you're wrong for putting faith in the manager.
Yeah. Michael Carrick has made him look like a clown, and I know that's a strong statement, but clown is the honest word.
You're right.
Everything that Ruben Amram said was wrong with Manchester United, Michael Carrick has beat Arsenal and Man City with. He turned around and said, they needed more strikers and they needed more attack power, and this is the reason they're not scoring goals. And Carrick has put 5 goals past City and Arsenal. I'm not saying Carrick, but United have, in the right shape with the right players and the right attitudes, they've scored 5 goals against City and Arsenal. He ostracised Kobe Manu. He took an awful stance against that young lad, and I was a big critic of Kobe Manu, thinking maybe he isn't good enough, and that they do make monsters out of people. And I suppose that was a bit of the hangover of Alejandro Garnacho and Rasmus Højlund going out the door. But now you have to look at it, and you have to. It's frustrating because he wanted a £300 million attack, and he got it. Ruben Amram, right? He got Patrick Dorgu, Brandon Pumo, Mateus Cunha, and Benjamin Sesko. And when he had it, he didn't really know what to do with it. And they've looked much better the past few games. And if you look at the players that are scoring the goals, it's Patrick Dorgu and Brandon Pumo and Mateus Cunha. It's the players that Amram was struggling to get a tune out of, that he couldn't really find ways in that system. And I think Kobe Manu looks like a man unleashed. It's amazing what Kobe looks like when he has a confident voice behind him and a manager to turn around and say. I think what Michael Carrick has changed in a very short space of time is he's just come in and said, look, you're all really good footballers, and we're overcomplicating things, and we're not going to play fancy systems. For 2 games, we're going to go 4-4-2. Patrick Dorgu and Diallo were the quickest players in the team. You're going to play in the wings, lads. Bruno, you're really good up front. I want you to play in between the lines as my second striker. And Brian, I want you to constantly be on the end of the last defender. I want you to be in behind them. And it's worked a treat. For all the over-complicated managers that we've had, Louis van Gaal's 5 at the back, Ruben Amram's 3-4-3, Jose Mourinho's negative football, Ollie coming in and just free-flowing it. Who knows what the formation is, but we're all here for a good time. And it was this mad blend of like Ferguson's Manchester United with the new age Manchester United players. It was brilliant to watch. I loved it.
Can I read you the top comment on the BBC website?
There you.
Yeah, this is about managers, right? This is the top comment, right? Some managers expect the current players to adjust to their system, while the smart managers adjust their system to the players that they have at their disposal.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
You know what Carrick has done?
Summed it up.
Carrick, for me, has dispelled the myth of the modern manager, right? So the modern manager, when he does his coaching badges, is taught to find an intricate system and defensive coach and attacking coach and midfield coach and set piece coach, and everybody needs to pull together to find these perfect moments and teach football players, these young fellas, what to do in every moment of the game. And Carrick just seems to have come in with a kind of skeleton staff and turned around and said, must have been a really bad year for you lads. Let's just go ahead and enjoy it. Let's go back to basics, okay? Passing triangles around the players out there. Pass and move. Look for each other. Help each other. Don't be on each other if you make mistakes. Try and win the ball back in our half. Don't chase them up the pitch because we're not good enough to play the high press. But let's squeeze them when they come into our half football. And it's worked. It's worked a treat.
Yeah, but it's square pegs, square holes as well.
It looks night and day, and like Patrick Dorgu at that left wing position has just been unreal. Like that goal,
incredible. He has turned Patrick Dorgu into one of the better wingers in the Premier League because Patrick Dorgu is selfless. You know, he comes back and he defends. And another brilliant thing that Carrick did tactically, right, is that he recognised that Dorgu and Ahmed Diallo can play the fullback positions. So he protected his struggling fullbacks. So many games this season we've been ripped alive on the wings, especially the Bournemouth game, when they come at us at will and we're able to get in behind us. And what he has done is he's doubled up in the Arsenal and City games. Okay, they've got Semenyo and Doku. Right, we'll make them try and take on Patrick Dorgu and Luke Shaw, not just one. If you want to exploit us, you have to go through both. And Ahmed Diallo coming in and mucking in with Diallo. If Diallo was able to stand Doku up, Diallo was able to come in and try and dangle the ball off him. It was, again, very simple adjustments, but just recognising that this is what you have available. And he deserves massive credit for benching Cunha and Sesko, folks. Huge.
Mm-hmm.
But do we think they come back into the team against Fulham, Cunha and Sesko?
Starting?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, in some matches.
I
They
think
start against Fulham, you know, when they rest Mbeumo and Cunha.
Well, I think didn't Dorgu
Not
didn't Dorgu come off with he was holding his hamstring and he said it might be cramp or
You don't know what it is yet.
I don't know what it is yet. Now,
Statement,
like maybe
it
they mightn't risk him, but you know, you've Cunha coming off the bench
Yeah.
in that position. He's come on lit the pitch on fire. He's got contributed to a goal, and any time he's come on, he scored a screamer there to win the match. So he's going to be high in confidence come Sunday, and you're playing at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
You want to be on the front foot. Cunha, it's a good game for, you know, give Dorgu a wee break and get Cunha back into the team. You know, and even Sesko, he was on a good wee run of form, starting to get the goals in with Bruno playing in the 10. And I think as well, when you're playing, you expect when you're playing Fulham at home, it is a game for to get your striker and get him a few goals. And put Mbeumo back on, you know, into the 10 maybe, or you don't know what ways. Gamad's playing well as well, and it's nice to have them options when even though he's changed the system. Some players have to miss out. But like I was saying last week, it's a 90-minute game. So it doesn't matter if you're on the bench, you're ready to come off on and make a difference. Just like Cunha's done. Sesko's done well as well, I think, for the third goal yesterday. A bit of hold up play and, you know, showing him some of his strengths. Even if he didn't score a goal, he still contributed and, you know, worked his socks off like he always does. You know, so it'd be good. It could go either way. What do you think, Rory?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's horses for courses now, which is a brilliant position to be in. It's much different to what we've had to suffer this season, where the team almost picks itself because he's available. I think now Patrick Dorgu is the option to play in the big games because he has real defensive prowess. I think when you're playing against a team like Fulham, who are not going to come at you like City and Arsenal, well, you need to have the more technical players on the pitch to unlock Fulham. And for me, that is Cunha and Mbeumo in the wider positions and encouraging them. Look, big Sesko's in the box and we're going to throw caution to the wind in certain moments, and Casemiro will push into the box and join him. So you have two options and whip the ball in. If Fulham want to play a low block and make us play football in front of them, then okay, whip the ball into the box and see if Fulham can defend against the two lads in the air. And if they knock the ball down, have your Bruno Fernandes waiting outside to pick it up, a pop shot or something, you know. I think what I've been encouraged with Carrick is, so far, United look all of a sudden like there's more space on the pitch for us to play. And we look a lot more confident in tighter areas where we get the ball in high press positions, and United knocked the ball past Arsenal. And Lisandro Martinez a few times very impressively bypassed the whole midfield and fizzed the ball into Brandon Mbeumo's feet. Just like, look, they're going to press us, take the ball. And Mbeumo was able to turn, and just that wee turn has Arsenal all of a sudden, instead of coming at you having to come in wee half turns and come back and get at that. You're probably not going to get that against Fulham. So you need a different approach. So I have Cunha and Sesko straight back in there, guys. But I think Patrick Dorgu, I think he pulled up with his hamstring. Now, whether he done the hamstring or not, it was precautionary, nobody knows. But he definitely, there was no one around him. It wasn't an impact injury.
No.
You know, he kind of stumbled and fell a wee bit and then went down, and it was muscular. So I'm not expecting him to be available. So Cunha picks himself, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you've
He's coming back.
Mason Mount hasn't got any minutes in the last couple of games.
I don't think Mason Mount is a Michael Carrick player based on what I've seen, unless Bruno Fernandes was to leave, Kieran.
Brilliant.
I don't know where Mason Mount would play in Carrick's lineup. Carrick seems to have gone back to the old school. There needs to be pace on the wings. Darren Fletcher attempted to play Mason Mount in the wing positions. I thought Mount was terrible.
Didn't work.
He just didn't understand the role.
No, I think
Better down the middle.
I think Mount was he was an Amram player. I think he was an Amram system kind of player. Or Ten Hag, he was like he's a real press monster. You know, he can, you know, in between the lines, and you know, but I like Mason Mount. I'm disappointed about that now. He was, you know, but he was starting to come after his injuries and stuff, and he was the one player, one of very few players you look forward to watch under Ruben Amram, because he suited that so well, and he was getting goals and assists and starting to see what we paid the money for.
Yeah. If Bruno is going to stay, right, then he's coming into his 30s. This idea that Bruno Fernandes is fit enough to play every game in the season, I would be expecting him to play every game until the end of the year, barring an injury, because we're only playing once a week. But if you're going to play the Europa League, or dare I said, I think it could be the Champions League, and if you're going to play that, you need to start rotating players if you want to have your strongest team fit and firing. Bruno Fernandes may play every game, but a fully firing Manchester United team could use a 100% Bruno Fernandes playing in the Premier League every week, to which Mason Mount might find a home as the second 10. And I do think, based on the tactical substitutions I've seen Carrick make, that he is a person who will give minutes to people before the end of the year. I know people are talking now about his addition and how he'll try and win every game, and I think he will, but I don't think that means that you're simply going to see Michael Carrick play the same team week on week. I'll be really shocked, even if Dorgu is fit, if he plays the same team against Fulham. I think the team that played against Arsenal and City was his team to beat the big teams.
Yeah, I agree. I think it definitely came down to the Semenyo, Doku on one side, and then you have Saka and Trossard, and you know, all the pace to deal with. I think it was brilliant. You know, I know it might seem like common sense for us watching at home, and said, you know, to see that, you know, but when you have Dorgu who can go forward and defend, helping out, just both back and forward, help each other, double up each time, and it worked its right. It was brilliant. It was good, brilliant to watch. Saka didn't have
Patrick
much.
Dorgu pulling off one of the best finishes I have seen in ages. What was that?
Fuck.
Wonder goal.
Dorgu
What a
Diego,
hit.
Ballon Dorgu, we call him now.
He always looks like so awkward, like he's about to fall over himself. But I mean, in the past 2 games, the fight Nazari had in the City game to get there before the City lads was brilliant to put the ball in the net. But that was a different sort of goal there again. Really intricate 1-2 football with Bruno Fernandes. The ball bounced up, he swings the leg at it, and boom, it's off the crossbar and in. There's a player there all of a sudden. Not a left back, but there's a player there on that wing. I'm not convinced.
Yeah, he's very young still.
You can see
very
that
young
me and Zach
still.
were right.
Go on, bite your tongue there, Rory, and admit it.
I'm not.
Bed sitter.
It is fence sitting, because I think
He's 20.
I think it's a hard one. He's an enigma, right? I think Dorgu would be brilliant for games against City and Arsenal, where you can see that you're probably not the best team, because he's defence minded. And I think having a lad that came in and tried to integrate himself in the Premier League and left wing back, and it hasn't worked out for him, and then going into the left wing position and being able to play both sides of the ball competently can only be a plus for United. So if you're asking me if I can see defeat as to me wanting rid of him, I don't think I do anymore.
No,
I think there's definitely
just there's a player. There's a player there. That's all. That's all. I mean, there's definitely something there with him, and the age he is. I think being only 20,
and scope for improvement, of course.
Yeah.
Whether I agree with it or not, for 2 games he has kept Matheus Cunha on the bench. That is the end of it. That's the fact. And in both games he has scored against the 2 best oppositions in England and 2 of the best teams in Europe. So I don't think it's an opinion thing anymore. I think all of us who had a knock on Patrick Dorgu are starting to see a different side of him since he moved into that wing position. But even you that were fans of him, would you have pictured that?
No.
He moves into left wing and all of a sudden transforms into one of the better players in the United squad.
Looks like
Well, he's a better left winger than he is a wing back.
Oh, he's much. When he's asked to defend him, he doesn't look comfortable. He doesn't look. When he's asked to be the last line of defence in that left
the
side,
last line.
Look,
yeah.
But I agree with you, Rory. It could form a good partnership with a more mature head in Luke Shaw. He doesn't shirk his defensive responsibilities. He does come back and defend.
Yeah, he does. He puts some yards in. I'm not surprised
Yeah.
he pulled out the muscle injury because he's done something wrong. Okay, so I suppose after that you have to discuss the comments of Gary Neville and Roy Keane, particularly that Michael Carrick has no chance to get the United job, or not no chance, but that he shouldn't be given the United job. Roy Keane went forceful and said if Michael Carrick wins every game until the end of the season, he still shouldn't get it. And Gary Neville made the point that Michael Carrick should hand it over at the end of the year to a more experienced and tenured manager. The 2 that got mentioned were Tuchel and Ancelotti. So, Kieran, we'll let you answer that one first. What do you think or feel about that?
Rubbish. Just load of, don't say more colourful words for that. I don't think it's, like I text you straight. I think we were texting about that actually in the chat. I think it's he's typical flip-flopping, contradictory Gary Neville. And I know it's his job to negative about United that gets clicks and views. That's just the way it's coming across, because he did the same thing about playing the 3 at the back and then playing the United way and 4 at the back when it goes pear-shaped, and then always to do this, do that. It's the exact same thing. He's probably said contradictory comments about the managers. I think he said something about Ancelotti. Didn't want the job. It wouldn't suit the job, and he's given off about Van Gaal like we are, and there are certain systems aren't Amram as well. You want saying about Amram playing 3 at the back, that's not the United way. Ancelotti has his own way of playing football as well. Tuchel has his own way on his side of things. That's not the way that Manchester United play football. So it's going to be the same thing. Carrick hands over the reins. Huh?
Tuchel's way is 5 at the back.
Yeah.
Tuchel managed Chelsea and played 5 at the back. Tuchel managed PSG and played 5 at the back. And in both clubs they said that it wasn't adventurous enough and that it was defensive minded.
Boring.
Gary Neville yapped and cried for the Manchester United DNA and doing things the United way, and then gets on to Sky Sports and says, I want Thomas Tuchel. Do you watch fucking football? Do you not realise that Tuchel plays 5 at the back? What the fuck are you talking about?
He doesn't.
I want the United way, but I want Thomas Tuchel. What?
I don't know. I don't get. It's like
I honestly think they get paid for eyeballs and views, and they just talk absolute shit, man.
I think they just get paid
Just to see.
just to stir shit.
Yeah, just to see how they can get people to react.
Just said playing so well under Carrick. Let's say the opposite. I'll give it to an Ancelotti or a Tuchel or fucking back to David Moyes or something mad to see the blow up on the socials and the daggers out for Sky Sports.
I also don't really, while we're talking about this, come to you in a minute, Mum, right? I don't like how big they insinuate the Manchester United job is. It's no bigger than any other job in football, and I contest that it's no longer the biggest job in English football, because surely that's the Man City job, since Man City are the most successful team in the last 15 years. Surely the City job is now a bigger role than the Manchester United job. What you have to contend with is fan opinion in any football club, right? fan opinion is on the floor. We're willing to discuss giving Carrick a 3-year contract because he beat Arsenal in City. That's how desperate we are for success. He's had 2 games, he gets 2 wins. Give him a contract because it's better than what we've seen in the last X amount of years. And that is the truth. They're the 2 best performances back to back I can remember Manchester United having under any manager. Then you have to contend with the commercial wagon that is a Manchester United. Okay, I get that. I understand the United manager does more media than any other manager on the planet. But Ruben Amorim seemed to want to coach every detail of every game at Manchester United as if the modern way was going to fix the football team. I think Carrick dispelled all that and came in and lifted the lid, and that was just like, no, let's just go out and fight and play football. So where do they get this from that the job be too big for Michael Carrick? Do you get that one? Maybe this is Kieran and I just from a different era looking at it and going, right, well, you tried the olden test, didn't Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, it did not work. You tried the Premier League proven David Moyes, it did not work. We appointed Ollie based on an interim vacancy, and then it did not work. Erik ten Hag was the European flavour that was at Ajax. Ruben Amorim was, the king of Portugal. Neither worked. Like, why wouldn't you give Carrick a shot? Would you give Carrick a shot, Mum?
If Carrick gets top 4, he should be in contention for the job. And see this rubbish that they're spouting about experienced managers. We've had experienced managers. They've done feck all. Do you know what I'm saying? They've been sacked. But I don't care any manager that comes in. I disagree with you a wee bit in this story. It is a big undertaking managing Man United because of the expectation of the club and the expectation of the fans. The pressure is there. But Michael Carrick gets Man United. Michael Carrick's a decorated Man United player. He knows what to expect with that club. So like you take you take the like of the latest one, Ruben Amorim, coming from Sporting Lisbon, right? As you say, the latest shiny new thing. It swamped him. He complained in the first 2 weeks about the amount of interviews he had to do. So I think if Michael Carrick gets the top 4, he should be considered for the job, yes. He should not be dismissed the way that Neville and Roy Keane are talking about him.
Yeah, did you see the piece that was written today about Trent Alexander-Arnold? And Gareth Bale was interviewed on the sacking of Xabi Alonso. And I thought it was very pertinent to Manchester United's current situation, right? And they were talking about how Xabi Alonso went in to Real Madrid with the same kind of expectancy as he did with Bayer Leverkusen, that he was there to coach the team, that he was there to show them the Xabi Alonso vision of playing football. This is what we do in defence, this is what we do in midfield, and this is what we do in attack. And then I remember back the old training videos that we watched when Ruben Amorim came in and he had changed things. He was getting them to, do you remember those drills where they were running back to the ball and he would blow the whistle and then you had to track the whole way back, and he was trying to show them Amorim ball, how to play in the 3-4-3 and the system and all the tactics. And Bale said that doesn't work at Real Madrid because you don't need to coach the Real Madrid team. You simply need to manage them. And that's where Carlo Ancelotti got the best out of Real Madrid. He had a formation, he had a way of doing things, and he had them training so they were physically fit. But then he didn't overcomplicate them with mixed messages. He gave the team a message of how they were meant to go out, express themselves, play fluid football, look for the runs of Ronaldo. He would give them certain wee snippets. He wasn't trying to control them or control the game like Xabi Alonso was trying to do. He simply wanted to manage the best team in the world. And they're saying that that's what Madrid need with all these egos. When you have a team of individual players, as Manchester United do on a very, very lesser scale. Cunha wants to express himself. Fernandes wants to do his own thing. To an extent, Casemiro would be a nightmare to manage because he's won so much with so many other managers. I just think there's a tendency from these managers to overcomplicate things, and maybe, just maybe, the thing that works best for those Man United players and for a big club is to simply come in and do the social media. Stop worrying about what you can't coach. Stop getting annoyed about all the wee intricacies that you have nothing to do with. That's fine. Just learn to manage the football team. I don't think that we have had a manager who has come to us, apart from Ollie, right, who hasn't tried to control every aspect of the role that they've stepped into, have we? Van Gaal wanted to do everything that Van Gaal had done at every previous club. Jose Mourinho wanted control over the transfers. He butted heads with Woodward. He butted heads with Rashford, with Lingard, with Pogba. He created enemies in the training room because they weren't the men that won the league with Chelsea. You know, I don't think it's a complicated job. I don't think it's at the end of the day, you manage 23 lads in a squad, 16 of them to turn up at the weekend and give everything that they have for the badge they're playing for and win a game. You can't say that Carrick has been tactically at those players and playing his own game plan. He had them for 2 weeks.
Yeah, but he had them for 2 weeks, Rory, and he sat Sesko and Cunha on the bench for 2 games. So he has to manage the team. And I'm not talking about the outside noise now. I'm talking about what he has done. He was not afraid to make that big call, knowing that he had the firepower sitting on the bench, you know, that he could bring on and change a match if he needed it. Whereas other players, Ruben Amorim was trying to shoehorn in players that the system was a mash-up then.
I agree. But
So I agree with you. He simplified the game by going back to the United system, I would call it. But he's picked the personnel that he thinks can implement that on the match day against the opposition.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is that not
Players
Ferguson?
Sorry?
Is that not Alex Ferguson? Everything you were describing there.
But that's what I said.
Alex Ferguson.
Players who know their role and can excel in that role.
Yeah,
Not somebody who's a striker playing as a flipping central midfielder. You know what I'm saying?
But how simple is that, Mum? I've got 23 lads in my squad, right? And this is what I'm going to do here. I'm going to play the 11 lads that I think are going to get my game plan right to beat Arsenal. We're all going to train together. We're all going to muck in as a team. And from what I've seen this week, these are the 11 lads that I think will beat Arsenal and 11 lads that I think will beat City.
Simple.
Yeah. We're playing Fulham next week. We're going to do the same thing on the training pitch. But these are the 11 lads I think are going to beat Fulham.
Different personnel. Yeah.
Why is that?
It doesn't have to be complicated.
So hard to work out? Why is it so hard to work out?
Do you know what? How is that too big for Carrick to work out? Carrick had a brilliant apprenticeship down in Middlesbrough. He has come back in with a much more talented squad than he would have had in Middlesbrough, and he's just beat the 2 biggest teams in England. And here, Pep Guardiola said that Arsenal are the best team in Europe, so we beat the best team in Europe in their home for the first time in 8 years, and the first time in 120 something games that the mighty Arsenal have lost in their fortress of a home stadium. By 3 goals, sorry. It's the first time in 120 something games that somebody's rocked up to Arsenal.
With 3 different goal scorers as well.
And 3 very different goals.
Yeah.
You know, you have the press that worked from Mbumo. You've got Dorgu with his chaotic wonder strike. And Matthias Cunha's goal, for me, is the goal of the season. Myself and Lee were discussing this today. Kieran, you'll get this. Mum, you played football too. Unless you have played football, right? To be that square on with the net and get the power, the pace and the accuracy to put it around the defender and into the bottom corner before the keeper can get phenomenal.
Yeah,
Don't
speed.
underestimate how difficult that is to do. He took that and made it look easy, but that was a world-class shot.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
So, Kieran, I suppose the question then becomes, is it too big for Carrick?
I think Carrick's a very humble personality. I think, you know, he seems like he's a fan. Like you've seen Carrick how many times have we seen Carrick in the away end supporting United? You know, I think he just gets it. I think he enjoys it. He's a bit like Ollie. Whenever Ollie came in, he was all smiles and everybody was his mate and all the rest, right? Which we criticised a bit. But I think Carrick, after, like, he did manage earlier previously under a bit of interim few games with Ollie as well, and then he went because he's went and coached in the Championship under Middlesbrough. He's got that bit of, the Championship's a hard league as well. He's got the experience. Yeah, he's got the experience there, and he's come back, and he hasn't. He plays. He does know. He knows in and out, I would say, and we've seen that in the last 2 games. The United way of playing football, and not overcomplicating it, and making the training sessions relevant, shorter but more intense, and working with what he's got. And he's got even better of what he's had available. I think that's the sign of a top manager and top person. So if he does well and he does wins these games, I'm afraid these games are the teams in the low block. But if he does what we're saying he's going to do and adapt his team to a team that can beat a Fulham or beat a West Ham in the low block and wins convincingly, this, as you said, the eye test, and it looks well as well, I think we could be onto something, and hopefully something that's finally going to work longer term. And I'm not forgetting as well, I think where Ollie was kind of, I always say investment and transfer strategy and recruitment strategy. I don't think any of that was really at the time under Ollie was more commercial. We've talked about it a few times. It was like very commercial, short sales, players that coming to the end of their peak of their powers. Not really thinking about the team and Premier League experience and bringing some useful players in. And I think with Wilcox there, with Barada there, we've seen Carrick attending the under-18s, the under-21s. He wouldn't be afraid to bring in kids like Shea Lacey, for example, just at the minute, coming in, and like the recruitment even in the last summer, bringing in players like Cunha and Buemo, best in class of the teams around you and below you. I think he could do very well if he does well and he gets top 4. I think I would give him it for a couple of years.
Yeah, I'm the same. I just think, I think you have made 2 points, right, that I wanted to make. The first one being, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer existed in a different look in Manchester United structurally and still had success, minimal success, but success to a point.
Finished second and stuff, yeah.
Probably got them playing the best football that we've seen post-Fergie in certain moments. And I do think Wilcox and Barada provide more structure and support for the manager. And I think Ruben Amorim shot himself in the foot because he just couldn't work with him. And the second point you made there, which I think is really, really relevant, is that Carrick's humble, a bit like Ollie was. But where I think Carrick is different is I think Carrick has a quiet style to him. As a man that played midfield for Manchester United for the years that he did, I think Carrick is a very determined and ambitious person, where he took the Middlesbrough job on hoping it would lead to bigger and better things. I think that Michael Carrick would be able to have the conversations with Jason Wilcox and Omar Barada to turn around and say, look, this is what I think we need to buy, but also big enough and humble enough to take instruction when they turn around and say, I don't think so. I think we should be looking at this and this. Yeah. That type of thing. So he would get the recruitment that Ollie didn't get in his time. We all heard the sensationalist stories where Ollie went on the overlap and said, I wanted Bellingham and Haaland, and he ended up with, was it Pogba and Ronaldo? Being colossal mistakes from the club, but there we go. It was the year we were in. There was all short sales and all that feeding to the kids. So it moves on then, Mum, to a conversation around if it isn't Michael Carrick, who? I do not want Thomas Tuchel or Carlo Ancelotti. I don't understand where, I feel like I'm in a time warp here where Roy Keane and Gary Neville have managed to completely erase when Louis van Gaal took over United and came from the Dutch team, having not been around the club for a season or two. And I know Carlo Ancelotti's a different beast, but is he a different beast?
Well, the one for me would be Luis Enrique.
If Luis Enrique wants to come to Manchester United, okay, I'm going to state this categorically. You have to get Luis Enrique. There should be no one else considered in the conversation other than Luis Enrique. The greatest coach, in my opinion, in world football at the minute is Luis Enrique. He finally cracked the PSG enigma that nobody else could.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal. He done it at Barca. He's done it at PSG. He's phenomenal. He doesn't suffer egos. He doesn't put up with any nonsense. But at the same time, his players love him. He is adored by the PSG fans and the PSG players. They think there's nothing like him. So, yes, if we're going to play Fantasy Manager's mother, Luis Enriquez, yes.
Yes, but if I had a toss-up, say I had only two choices between Thomas Tuchel and Ancelotti, it would be Ancelotti hands down.
Michael Carrick.
Just keep Carrick.
But you only mentioned two. Rory, you didn't mention Michael Carrick.
No, I get that, but you have to play the game fair, I think. Everything that we talk about is Michael Carrick or.
Oh,
Michael Carrick is the current manager.
Yeah,
so Michael Carrick or Ancelotti.
The only one that I would look out there is Luis Enrique. That's the only person I would overlook Michael Carrick for at present. Now, ask me that at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Kieran nailed something earlier. The test now is the Fulham and West Ham. I have seen Manchester United have so many false dawns of beating big teams, or 2 games in a row, or Arsenal try to come at us and City try to come at us, and we've got the perfect game plan for that. And then Fulham come out, and a bit like they derailed our season at the start under Ruben Amorim, they sit in a low block and look at us and go, break us down. And United go, we can't do that. That's not our game. Please attack us now. We need to counter-attack you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm afraid of. So
that's my biggest.
Because you look at it. You look at it. Fulham's in a bit of form now. So is West Ham. They've strung a couple of results together. So that's the litmus test for me. Is Fulham and West Ham.
Yeah.
See where we were. Where we are after this.
West Ham are trying to save.
So I am going to go. I am going to go on the side of Hopium. Okay, right?
Oh.
Manchester United.
We've infected him, Kieran.
will smash West Ham.
God.
Right. So I think Manchester United will. There's something about Carrick's vision of what United should be that is really grabbing me at the minute, and I'll tell you why. Right before you think I'm just going off on one and hoping, you see the way in both games, United have looked to move the ball around the pitch from each side of the pitch. They spread long balls and they try and make you think we're coming down the right hand side, and then a Martinez or a Fernandez whips at a breakneck speed and they're down on the left. Yeah. I think that is the key to catching modern football teams out that set up in this really deep block. I think if you move them around the pitch and you get false runners and a bit of movement, you'll free up the right person in the right position to score goals. And I think it is how United would beat Fulham is going to be, not if you watch the Cunha goal, because I think it was a wee bit counter-attack and, it was good movement, but Arsenal had started to become slightly stretched and were trying to go for the game. Look at the Dorgu goal, where they just intricately played it in between him and Fernandez, a couple of wee 1-2s, and Dorgu shot from outside the box and the ball was in the back of the net. That was the United of old. If you want to make us play in front of you, that's fine, we'll just shoot.
How many goals have we seen this season from outside the box?
Yeah, I was going to say that, Kieran. It was lovely to see goals scored from outside the box instead of trying to walk it into the back of the net.
And that was one of the big strengths as well of Cunha.
Yeah. Do you remember back when we used to watch United, and United would put the ball out fast onto the wings, right? And if they were struggling to play through teams, Antonio Valencia, Luke Shaw and his pomp would have been whipping balls into the box. And you had like Van Persie and Rooney and these brilliant headers of the ball that would have been there, or you had these other fantastic players that would have waited for the knockdowns. Or are you going to try and head the ball away? If you head the ball away, they'd have snatched it up right by your box. I can see United beating Fulham that way. I think he goes with Cunha and then Mbeumo out in the wings, and I think he brings Benjamin Sesko back into the game, and I think Benjamin Sesko will be in there to negate the low block. Casemiro arriving late and deep, so there's 2 in the box, because Amorim tried this, but he left Sesko up front like some sort of dying gazelle and was like, I'll whip the ball at Sesko and hope that something happens. Wrong way to do it. Push them back and then get Casemiro, who's brilliant in the air, in there, or a Harry Maguire coming up from the back and getting in there with Sesko. And then I honestly think you need to smash Fulham. I know that's mad. I'm living in the Carrick opium right now.
Live it up, enjoy it.
Welcome to our world, Rory.
inject it.
I'm telling you, it has been a long time since I have felt this positive about a Manchester United setup. Because correct me if I'm wrong, right? These weren't hopeful against the Green wins. United were the better team in both games.
No, they were better, yeah. Especially against City.
Yeah. No, City are very poor at the back, but it's still, title chasing Man City with the millions and billions they've spent on that squad. They're not. Many injury crises has United had, as any team had, and you're told it's not an excuse.
No,
it doesn't.
The genius of Pep Guardiola said on Friday in his press conference that Arsenal are the best team in Europe. He said it on Friday, and on Sunday, United put them to the sword.
Well,
so I am full of it, because they deserve to beat Arsenal.
Well, you're right. You're right that too. And I think we all looked at the City game as a Manchester derby. Oh, United's going to be up for it. We've seen this before, but like you said, we talked about in the last episode. It was like it wasn't lucky. It wasn't. I don't think we were like City deserved to win, or were
fluky goals
like Arsenal. Spent so much money to turn them into an expensive Stoke City, but it was attacking. It was the way, the intricate pass and the style of play going forward. Like what I didn't miss seeing is when we're trying to go for a game or we need a goal, bringing on a defender or changing our back line, we're bringing on attackers and more attackers and going for a goal. Have you noticed that under Carrick? Like, thank the Lord.
Yeah, you have to, let's be really, really fair to Arsenal, okay? Arsenal let us back into the game. It was a poor error to allow Mbeumo in, who was very calm, collected and cool and scoring his goal, but Arsenal gifted us that goal to let us back into the game, right?
So
I'd argue with any Arsenal fan, you didn't threaten us. If it wasn't for corners, we wouldn't be afraid of you at all.
Yeah.
All you had was Gabriel Jesus frustrating Lisandro Martinez and doing very, very little, and then you tried to be physical with us, and Harry Maguire was up against your striker. You had that one chance where Gyökeres got in and had his half chance 1-on-1, and it was flagged. You did nothing. You were brilliant from set pieces. The best I've seen in football probably in a long, long time when it comes to corners. Saka is menacing with the way he whips the ball in. Bar that, what did they do?
Well, there was two chances. Saka had one, and it was Zubimendi had the other. Remember the one?
Saka had a half chance. Is this the one where he pulled inside and Laman saved it at the near post?
Yeah.
I would say it's a half chance.
Yeah, well, that's all I can remember.
He weaved on the edge of the box. The defenders were in front of him. He did brilliant to get the shot off, but Lamans was equal to it. Mm-hmm. What was the second? Remind me of it.
Remember, Zubimendi, it was directly at Lamans, but he got his hands up. Because
header.
So the first half. First half,
yeah. It was a good reaction save.
First half, yeah.
There was no moments where you were panicking.
No,
it was only really when they got a corner, you're like, oh no, here we go. They're going to do something from a corner because it's.
Yeah. And like many teams, Kieran, go to the Emirates and it's 2 each and hold on for a draw. We went for the win.
I went for the win.
Do you know what I'm saying? We went for the win.
Our coaching staff, I think they made that decision together because it's Steve Holland. Holland and Carrick were deep in conversation when Arsenal scored the second goal. Deep. And I think whichever one, whether one tempered the other or whether it was Carrick wanted to put a defender on and take the draw and Holland wanted to go for it, or Holland was advising that we should put the defender on. And when it came, Michael Carrick just took a few steps out of his technical area. Somebody had made the decision and they changed nothing because at that point they still had attacking options on the pitch. And somehow Matheus Cunha decided to pull off the moment of the season where he just goes on a wee run inside, drifts in and out, pulls Gabriel just a wee bit to the left and puts it clean round him and into the back of the net. And then Manchester, whoever had made the decision, celebrations all round. Okay, time to bring Mazraoui on as a defender and time to go 5 at the back because you're playing Arsenal and Arsenal are at home and you're beating them. So get the extra defender there. If we win this, we are going to look like geniuses. And fair play to them, they did.
Yeah, fair play.
Well, it's going to breed even more
confidence.
You know,
Brilliant for fans who have suffered a lot.
Yeah.
There's been some brilliant moments over the years. Ten Hag beat City to win the FA Cup, and there's been some real celebrations. We're not in a doom and gloom position that people think we're in. We have a new stadium on the horizon. Michael Carrick is showing that the squad is not where we thought it was at all. There is a team to be had there. Additions would be brilliant, but there's a team that could do things there. I don't know.
you know,
I'd like to see Carrick be given the chance.
Yeah, like we were looking at that. We were looking at a few weeks ago at that team, and we're saying we need 5 or 6 first team signings.
Yeah.
You know, just to make Amram's system work the way he wants it to work.
Yeah.
And then you fast forward to now, and it's like, what do we need now? You know, a bit more a bit more quality and depth maybe to compete in Europe. You know,
Oh, you mean
another striker, another midfielder.
still need a difference. Yeah, I mean,
Have you seen what Sam Locker's looked up today? No.
No.
Cole Palmer.
No. And
Don't
what's
know
he going to play?
If you Lockhurst is reliable. I don't know. But it's all
Palmer
it's,
plays in
it's,
Bruno's position. Cole Palmer is coming to Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes is leaving Manchester United.
yeah.
It costs an arm and a leg, though, to get them from Chelsea.
Yeah, apparently all I'm doing
I
is
don't like-
always a hobby.
He's not happy in London. He's not happy living in London, apparently.
This is Manchester.
I would play Matthias Cunha in the middle, behind the striker, right? And I'd bust the bank for Morgan Rogers.
I like Morgan Rogers.
I like Morgan Rogers. He's quick.
Yeah. I think if anything, it'll be a couple of midfielders. I think with Casemiro, losing Casemiro, he said he's leaving.
Could be losing Bruno.
Could be losing Bruno, but apparently he'd want him to stay now for another year.
I think if it's Carrick, he'll stay.
Yeah, I think it was Carrick, and he's playing the 10, and we'll finish in the Champions League or get the Champions League places, and it looks like we could do something next year. You know, I would.
I also think Carrick will demand Carlos Baleba, Kieran, to replace Casemiro, and I honestly think he's going to ask for an English midfielder.
He's thinking he's going to ask for a few midfielders. I haven't seen a word of whisper of a Carta anywhere. You know, Mason Mount as well doesn't fit the system. I think there's a few spaces that are going to be opening in the midfield positions in the squad. And whether there's any other positions that leave. Does Dallow stay? Maguire, does he stay another year? In centre back, do we need another centre back? Delit seems to be.
Dallow is the backup, I believe. I don't think Mazraoui fits.
Yeah. And then you
Dallow
have
has let me touch every bit of wood. It's in a house placement, everything. Dallow has been alright this past 2 games.
Yeah.
I don't know how many posts I've seen on the socials when we were playing City and Arsenal, and it was like just in capital letters, nothing else. Dallow, don't do anything stupid, please.
Yeah, 110. 110.
Oh,
don't be yourself. Be better.
Yeah, but he's not isolated. He's got Ahmad on that side as well.
Yeah,
he has help, and Harry Maguire is a big part of that as well.
Yeah,
there's insurance behind him.
Harry was brilliant.
Harry Maguire has been phenomenal the past few games.
He's like a brick wall.
Yeah, thou shalt not pass.
Absolutely.
But all of Harry's frailties are going to be coming to the forefront in the Fulham and West Ham games, and this is where we need to see what Maguire is made of. When the opposition is pressing you and pushing you back, Harry Maguire looks brilliant because he wins all his headers and he gets but once you're stretched and the ball is coming down the channels and in behind you and they're trying to stretch you a wee bit, it's not really Maguire's forte to be running on the back foot and the big tackle across. And this is where I think Carrick might need to be a bit brave. If Maguire isn't working out against Fulham and West Ham, you might need to put Lenny Yoro on for the pace.
Yoro or Evan?
I think Lenny Yoro is the natural successor to the right sided centre back, and Aidan Heaven is the natural successor to the left sided centre back. And I'd be really interested if Michael Carrick got the job on a full time basis. Would he stick with Lissandro Martinez and Aidan Heaven, or would he twist and get a second left centre back? Because now that you're in a 4-4-2 or a 4, whatever Carrick plays, you've got 4 centre backs, 5 centre backs again. Matthijs de Ligt still to come back. Don't think Maguire will go anywhere. Lenny Yoro, Aidan Heaven, Sandro Martinez.
Yeah, so you have plenty of cover in that position now. Because you don't need.
They're not offering Maguire another contract, are they?
Apparently not.
No, because apparently Chelsea and West Ham and Everton are looking at him.
I thought that would have to be.
I mean, Harry Maguire was phenomenal against Man City, right? But I'm telling you, there are real limitations to what Harry can do.
Oh yeah.
You know, if anything, it would be a year contract with reduced wages.
And apparently he doesn't want that. That's Casemiro as well. That they offered him a year contract, said no.
Yeah,
Unreduced
I
wages.
understand. Well, the money that Casemiro was on was ridiculous. That's not his fault. That's not his fault. Like, but you know,
No.
Casemiro's he's been very good recently, but we have to remember that there are spells when Casemiro was not so good in that Manchester midfield. Harry Maguire is brilliant in big games. Always has been. He's a big game player. He'd be a phenomenal squad player to have, but he's not the starting centre back he's not gonna win us the league, is Harry. No. Because in games where he has to play higher up and we're not in that defensive kind of deep position, he hasn't been great. Doesn't cover himself.
Not quick at all.
You know, it's been having players that suit all. Sorry, go on, Ray.
Yeah, and it's going to be really interesting to see the Fulham. I'm excited to watch the Fulham game. I have a buzz to watch United now.
Yeah, but you're not afraid to watch them anymore. Not in the back of those 2 games.
I still am.
There's something in the back, creeping in the back of the mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Kieran has made some.
Because we're still traumatised.
You know, it's grand when you beat Arsenal, it's grand when you beat City. Fulham West Ham are going to be very different games. Very different.
It's been no
West Ham will show whether United can conquer their demons or not.
Yeah. Nobody gave us a chance against City and Arsenal. We were going to get tanked by City.
We didn't even give ourselves a chance. And we're fans.
Yeah.
You know, we were dreading those 2 matches.
Years of like shutting everybody up in certain moments. But when you're asked to do that consistently and you get past your Arsenal and your Man City buzz and you meet Fulham, you must smash Fulham. Mm-hmm. You have to show now. You have to put foot on throats and show, you know, Manchester United are back. Manchester United are a big club and this isn't a flash in the pan. We actually do have the talent now to go and destroy a Fulham, smash a West Ham, and you should be afraid of what's coming now. That sort of mentality. And if Carrick can get that, if Carrick can make Old Trafford a fortress where you start to go and not, oh, we're playing United the weekend, that could be a point. Fuck, we're playing United the weekend, and that's at Old Trafford. Nobody's won there in a while. That's what we want.
Exactly.
That consistency. Even under Ollie, there was a what's going to happen this week, Phil, about things during certain points. He got the best out of us when he came in as the interim. I mean, the best out of us post-Ferguson, but then it was... Ollie was a bit of chaos, like, wasn't he? He was just like, what formation are we going to play? What is the game plan? What's going to happen? Now, it could be argued that he was hampered by simply being handed mega-star egos and being told to manage them as opposed to a forward-thinking process of to suit the team. I don't think Wilcox and Barada would do that to Carrick.
No, I think he was, like, Ollie was handed.
That's the old era.
You know, he was handed as well. Like, the players, like we said about the strategies of recruitment in the past, not Ollie's fault. And then, you know, we talk about, I think Scholes, it was an interview from Scholes one time when we were playing in the Europa League or Champions League. But the managers coming in and you're handed like a mixture of different players from different managers, the Van Hals and the Moyes, you know, and mix up not your own players, but you have to make, you know, I suppose you have to make do with what you have, and you have to coach the players you have. But you have players brought in for different managers and different ways of playing as well. And then if you're not back properly in the transfer market, but you're giving commercial names, or this we're signing this boy because he's going to sell us shirts. He might get you a lot of goals, but you know, it's not who you want. But here you go, do what you can with it. You know,
we need a striker because we're lacking goals. All right, we're going to sign Edinson Cavani at the end of his career.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
so many players come into Manchester United and I'm thinking the only reason you've bought him is to sell shirts, and it's so obvious. Whereas I don't think that is the case now with Wilcox and Barada. I think that was a very shrewd window, the last window, and I know Benjamin Sesko was taking a while to kick, but he did grab 3 goals under Darren Fletcher, and then Mbeumo's been a revelation under Carrick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So is Cunha.
He's kept going.
So is Bruno Fernandes. So is Kobe Mainoo.
So is Patrick Dorgan.
Patrick Dorgan looks like a different boy when he plays left wing. I'm not sure if that was Carrick or that was simply that Manchester United didn't play with a left winger, and now didn't come as a left wing back for Lecce?
Yeah.
They missed the trick.
Left wing back, yeah. And Dallo's playing decent.
Yeah. Don't say that out loud.
No. That's what I'm trying to whisper.
Dallo is playing adequately.
He's doing his job.
Yeah.
No one tell him that. Okay.
No. Don't beg his ego up.
No, it's good to have a positive podcast for once in a while. We should be back next week after the Fulham game to discuss the Fulham game, which will hopefully be another United win. I'm super positive about this one. But yes, thanks for listening to this. Check us out on the socials and enjoy the football match.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.